Let's start by giving credit where it's due. The Callisto Protocol is a good game. A really good game, in fact. Just maybe not the one it was marketed out to be. If you go into it expecting a survival horror experience, let's say a la Dead Space, you're gonna feel like someone promised you a haunted house, but then gave you a laser tag arena instead. But if you approach it as a solid action game with spooky vibes and jaw-dropping visuals, you're in for a great time. First off, the graphics are a chef's kiss. Seriously, it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. The developers didn't just create a creepy space prison, they crafted a museum of misery. The lighting is just perfection, casting eerie shadows that make you swear something is lurking just out of sight. Every wall, hallway, and monster looks painstakingly detailed, like the artist spent months perfecting every blood smear and tentacle wrinkle. It's the kind of game where you occasionally stop mid-mission just to admire how gross everything looks. But the Callisto Protocol isn't just about looking pretty. It's got gameplay that's, well, complicated to unpack. The core of its melee combat, which is both the game's signature and its Achilles heel. When you first pick up Jacob's trusty baton, the fight feels raw and visceral. Dodging left, dodging right, and smacking enemies into gooey bits of satisfying its primal, almost caveman simulator kind of way. The problem is, after a while, you realize it's a bit too reliable. The same dodge, the same swing formula works for pretty much every enemy, no matter how scary or grotesque they may look. You'll never feel underpowered or truly vulnerable.
People down here running.
And that's where the game stumbles as a horror experience. Horror is built on fear. Fear of the unknown, of being outmatched, of having to make impossible decisions under pressure. But in the Callisto Protocol, Jacob is a walking wrecking ball. Sure, you might panic in the first few times a muted inmate lunges at you from the shadows, but once you've mastered the combat, the fear just evaporates faster than water on the surface of Callisto. Instead of thinking, oh man, how am I going to survive this? Now you're thinking, alright, let's dance, ugly.
I just wasn't expecting you there at all. Fellas, we can talk this through, okay?
That said, the combat is fun. It's really fun. Once you accept that this is more of an action game than a survival horror, it's a blast to beat down waves of disgusting mutants. The game gives you just enough tools to keep things interesting. A mix of melee, guns, and the occasional gravity-manipulating glove, because what's a futuristic space game without a gravity glove, right? And while the combat does undermine the game's scariness, it's undeniably satisfying to wade through enemies like you're starring in your own gritty space action movie. Now, let's talk about the horror itself. It's there, but it's not exactly cohesive. The game tries to build tension with its moody atmosphere, creepy audio design, and sudden jump scares, but it never quite sticks the landing. You've got all the ingredients for a terrifying experience, but the pacing just feels off. It's like the game can't decide whether it wants to scare you or let you revel in being a badass. One moment you're creeping through a dark, unsettling corridor, and the next, you're locked in an arena, dodging punches like you're in a galactic MMA match. The result? The tension fizzles out, leaving you more pumped than petrified. To be clear, this doesn't mean that the game isn't spooky. It is. The environments, the sound design, and monster designs are all top tier. There's a constant sense of unease, like something terrible is always about to happen. But the scares rarely escalate into something truly nerve-wracking. It's more, ooh, creepy than, oh god, no.
Ugh.
If you go in expecting to be terrified, you'll probably be a little disappointed. But if you're in the mood for some solid action with a horror-inspired aesthetic, you'll have an awesome time. The story, while intriguing, also leans more towards sci-fi action than psychological dread. It's got some twists and turns with the world building, and it's pretty solid, but it often feels like the narrative takes a back seat to the combat. You're not constantly questioning what's real or delving into Jacob's psyche. You're just trying to smash your way to the next cutscene. That's fine, but again, it's not what survival horror purists might be looking for. So where does this leave the Callisto Protocol? It's a fantastic action game with jaw-dropping visuals and a spooky vibe, but it's not the survival horror game that'll have you clutching your blanket at night and sweating bullets, and honestly, that's okay. Sometimes you just want to beat up space mutants while muttering, "Not today, alien scum," and looking fabulous while doing it. Just don't go in expecting to be terrified, unless you're scared of how many times Jacob will hilariously die if you mess up a dodge. If nothing else, the game will teach you one thing. In space, no one can hear you scream. But everyone can hear you yell, "I dodged that, damn it!"